think, but now drop down just a little bit. Richie in 4th, Valu, ZZ9, Shen, Jason, Darku, Freeware, and Microlander are the current top 10.
All right, we are back in session here. Let us know in the chat if there are any further issues. On my end, it does not appear there will be, and it appears things have been fixed up with 8 minutes remaining here in qualifying. So the best has yet to come. And thank you so very much, everybody, for your continued patience and support of the stream.
Well, yeah, everything looking good, apparently, which is what we love to see. So, thank you, everyone, for sticking with us. And it's Milan right now on a fly. He was the first to set a time in this session, if memory serves me. And, well, he'll be the next to finish a flyer here as everyone else finishing out laps or halfway through on their fly. Still a penultimate turn for the Haas driver. It's a 133 flat to beat, and, well, beat that he does a 132.878 puts him into 9th place.
Very nice time from him. Very good job. A few more drivers beginning flyers now. Microlander in that Red Bull is one of them. Take a look at the gap right now from 1st down to 15th position, less than a second to 16th. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and say 17th. From 1st down to 17th position, 1 second the gap. Fraser and Brownie are a millisecond apart at the moment.
Meanwhile, Dason getting a nice little toe off of his teammate in Brain Stew, and I do believe that was Sindaku crossing into P2, just ahead of his teammate. And I wouldn't be surprised to see a little toe out of the racing points as well. Dason coming through the final sector now. Looking very strong on that toe from his teammate. Will have helped him just a little bit. He didn't invalidate like he did earlier when we saw what would have been a fairly strong banker lap from him. For the Alfa Romeo now coming around the final corner. ERS running out at the perfect time, and across the line it's good for P2. Just shy of Paris's best time, but he does beat both racing points, who are, again, teamwork displayed. It's Vexit getting a slipstream off of Sindaco.
Well, Dason, definitely one of those drivers that everybody had pegged as a top driver or top pick in this race, considering the fact that he loves this circuit. We talked about it in that first session before we had to restart, and now Vexit coming through Sector 3. He's just bashed that wall coming out of the right-hander. And we've seen a few drivers do that today already. He's going to come straight into the pit lane there, although no damage now. It would just appear he's on his in-lap. So the racing points, 3-4. You've got Paris there on pole position. Dason lining up next to him so far here. I think Paris might be on a flyer. Yes, he is. We haven't had a chance to see what the Ferrari can do just yet. We see the time, but we didn't see the lap. Let's take a look right now. Domi, his teammate now for the remainder of the season, giving him a nice toe down into the hairpin here. That's lovely stuff. And of course, Bottas gang driving the first 2 rounds for the Ferraris this season, stepping down from that seat.
Well, Strip, it's brilliant to see all of these teammates working so well together. Paris obviously just got a slipstream and a big slide through turn 13, but the 2 McLarens have done it, the 2 Alphas did it, the 2 Racing Points did it, so a lot of teamwork going on right now on the grid, and it's brilliant to see. But let's see, can Paris improve upon the 132.3? And while the fastest time just got faster at 132.1, 3/10 clear of Dason. And that is a very, very strong time.
That is an absolutely blistering time right now. Richie has just finished a lap. He's good for a 132.728 on his second run. I think it was 9 milliseconds ahead of his previous time here. What a grid we are seeing shape up here. The gap to 17th still a second. This is the tightest grid we've seen so far this week, without a doubt. Dougie Falcons. He missed out last week in Bahrain. We'll see what he's able to do as he makes his way out of Sector 1 now. He's got a 133.1 on the board. He's within a second of the leaders. And he's going to be getting a tow. Here's Richie now.
Yeah, they did it on the previous lap where it was Richie's turn. Now the roles are reversed, and it's something we've seen all week long, but Tier 1 really stepping up to the plate and showing everyone how it's done. Every teammate pretty much slipstreaming each other. One person who's not going to be a beneficiary of this is Lil Blotel, his reserve teammate tonight, out both on very different parts of the circuit, and well, they don't seem to be communicating, or at least they're not going for that slipstream.
Dougie now, he's making his way through the final few turns here. And he's currently 16th. What will the improvement be out of the McLaren? Coming out of the final turn now, the 23rd turn to the line. It's an improvement, and it's good for 12th position. 2/10. 32.894 out of Dougie.
Well, Blotel had a 132.5 before we had to restart. Now the Mercedes down in 19th with 134.4. 132.5 would see him rocket up into the top 4, if not the top 3, if he could find a little bit more time. And there it is, 4th place at 132.5, just ahead of Vexit, slamming him straight between both racing points. And well, he's back to where he was with only a couple minutes left in the session. I don't think he'll be getting another run in.
Fraser, the Renault, just coming through turns 1, 2, and now the first sector here. Yellow flags up ahead. We'll look behind, see who else we can check in with. It looks like the Red Bulls are about to begin some laps. There is an Alpha Tauri on the move on an out lap. That's going to be freeware, so nobody crossing the line that way just yet. Jason, he's on an out lap. Here goes ZZ9 and Fraser and ZZ9. Well, where have we seen this before, Unicorn?
Yeah, well, they pretty much started this trend all the way back in Club Division, and they were doing it even before it was called Club Division. So they're pretty much experts in this field, and that was a huge tow from one area to another. But Fraser, maybe a little bit too good of a tow, a huge lockup into the hairpin.
Yeah, that's very unfortunate there. And this is something that these two have performed time and race again, one after another, and he's not going to be happy with that. We are at the end of the line here of this qualifying session as far as my timing tower is telling me, and we've got some drivers here. There's been a disqualification. It would appear that there's a Mercedes who has been disqualified from the running in this qualifying session. Alp in his reserve capacity. I don't know what he's been disqualified for.
This is wrong way. Quite sure how he managed that through Sector 3. Maybe just trying to turn around, maybe waiting for cars, and sometimes the game can just disqualify, and especially on a tight circuit like this, getting out of the way probably involved going backwards before he was able to go forward. So very unfortunate to see. I don't think that would have been, a malicious attempt at driving backwards. I think it's just an unfortunate way to try and get clear of any oncoming traffic. Meanwhile, a lot of the front runners on flyers right now. Paris, Dason, Sindarko all flying. And, well, Sindarko, his flyer is actually invalid. Valu hops into P3.
Valu joining his Sidemax Motorworks teammate there, second. And, well, I was going to say third, but Dason comes through. And he gets it into the third position here as well now. Very nice time from Dason. I was asked earlier today, who do you think's going to win this race? I said, well, I'm going to be upset if Dason doesn't win it because of how much he talks about it. Domi's just given Paris another launch into the hairpin here. Take a look at
Dason.
Sorry, I was just going to say ZZ9, he's coming through the penultimate turn, and then I was going to switch back to the Ferraris there.
Yeah, Paris here. Dason really has someone of big threat, dominant all of through qualifying,
Oh.
and now another opportunity.
Well, hold the phone here. ZZ9 has made it into second position. Fraser had a crash. Not entirely sure if Paris was blocked. It would appear so, as he was not able to improve.
Well, actually, he didn't improve, but it was 0.005 off, so it was a very consistent lap time. It was a 132.10 or 110. So I don't think he was too badly hindered by that. But yeah, Fraser into the wall in Sector 3. Not how he wants to be going into this event. It's going to be a huge knock to the confidence. I think Brainstew was on a flyer, but I think he's just coming back to the pits. It does look like he's dropped the lap. I think qualifying is pretty much over, Striff.
Wow, did these times ever get shaken up here? Nobody on the mediums qualifying here. Dougie was on them at the end of the session, but I don't know what he was doing. The gap right now from first down to 18th position is 1.064. The 17th position, it is 0.999. What a grid we have here. The gap from first down to 10th is half a second.
Yeah, this grid proving once again its competitiveness and how tight these gaps will be in the race. A circuit that's tricky to overtake, and DRS trains definitely a thing down that long back straight, so these guys are going to have their work cut out if they want to finish anywhere in the points. And well, I think those who are outside of the points right now, Freeware in 11th place, he could look very strong if he gets the medium to soft strategy right. I don't think many people will be dabbling and using the hards because they've just been proven to be a little bit too slow all throughout the week. Although Hurricane yesterday in Tier 2 did put in a pretty solid stint on them and held off some late pitters under a safety car, which we haven't spoken about really this evening, but could happen as well.
Well, we know one thing for certain, and that's that we're going to have a clear session ahead of us. No rain on the horizon, as was the original roll of the dice here. We'll take a look at the grid. It is for Visceral. Paris on pole position. He is in the Scarlet Red Ferrari, a 132.105 out of him. Lining up next to him on the front row, the Renault of ZZ9, a 132.182, the best time from him. Sidemax Motorsports has Vexit there in third, with Dason lining up next to him there in fourth. Valley from Sidemax as well in fifth. We've got Richie there in sixth. Shenjay seventh. Sindako eighth. Lil Blotel in ninth. Domi rounding out the top 10 here. We'll go down through the rest of this grid with you on the formation lap.
Yeah, that gap at the top, very, very tight. Those top four pretty much all within a tenth, and that could see them all go, very hand in hand all throughout this opening section, with the DRS getting enabled on lap 2 or lap 3. They will be just glued together until someone can find something to break them away. And well, I can already see a lot of the cars on the grid on the mediums. Once we get a timing tower going, we'll get a bit better of a view on it. But I think it's going to be a 50-50 split. That's what I'm going to predict. 10s on soft, 10 on mediums.
20 seconds now. Counting down. We're going to take you through this grid, and we want to have your predictions in the chat. For those talking about rain, I would just move on. Secondly, we want to know what you want to see for safety cars, guys. Safety cars, podium predictions, get them in the chat. This is about to go down.
Formation lap is there, and tyres, I was almost right. One driver throwing a spanner in the works. Alp in P20 going for the hards. Everyone else outside the top 10 on the mediums, and everyone in it, obviously, on the softs they qualified on.
Taking a look now, once again. Paris on pole position in the Ferrari. Behind him, it is ZZ9 in the Renault. The top three is rounded off by Vexit in the Racing Point. Britannius took a win here on, of course, Tuesday. Perhaps Vexit will be able to give another win to the Pink Panthers, as well as Dason in fourth now. We've got Value in 5th, Richie in 6th, Shenjay in 7th here, Sindako 8th in the other Racing Point. Blatel in 9th for the Mercedes squad, with the other Ferrari bringing out the top 10. All of those drivers, of course, on the softs as they qualified. Now, 11th down through to 20th, all on the mediums except Alp. We have Freeware, Brainstew, Brownie, Microlander, Milan, Dougie, Fraser, Tim, as well as Yoda, with Alp running out the rear of this grid. And it is going to be a very intense 28 laps around Hanoi. I can say that for certain. Where we're heading now, of course, the end of this very long straight, the hairpin. This is going to be the #1 overtaking zone of the race. You can guarantee it.
Yeah, pretty tricky to overtake anywhere else, but tire advantage as well is serious around here. Someone on a fresh set of softs versus someone on hards has a lot of traction, and somewhere like the roundabout down at between turn 6 and 9, you can see someone just try a sneaky move up the inside of there using an additional traction where the hards really struggle to get in and hug that inside line, whereas someone on a fresh set of softs really can take full advantage of them around this tight and twisty track.
Yeah, you're definitely correct on that right now. We look at this tire strategy. The mediums can be so powerful here. The softs, they really can be a tricky tire. This is now the penultimate turn on the formation lap for the lead driver in Paris, Alp. Now he's just coming out through sector 3, and we're gonna get set to go racing here. And I am nervous for this race start. I am trying to get prepared.
Yeah, it's going to be very, very tricky. Down into turn 1, Paris actually doesn't have the inside line. So, can we see ZZ9, Vexit, or even the fan favorite Dayson?
Well, here we go. Why don't you take us away, Unicorn? 4 or 5 red lights here.
Here we go. It's 5 red lights, but they've gone out and no one's moving. There we go. The 5 red lights have gone out for everyone else as well. Look into who's got the good start. And ZZ9 has had the good start he needs. He's got the inside down line on the Ferrari. Into the turn 1, they go there side by side. ZZ9's still there, but the inside of turn 2 goes to Paris. And he pulls straight away, and it's Valu, who's already up 2 places, and now looks like the inside of ZZ9 as well. Vexen and Dayson have come together, and, well, there's a Sector 1 yellow flag. No safety car or VSC to speak of. Sindaku and who is that going side by side into what was a wall? There's another end plate flying. It looks like Lil Blotel, who's come up 3 places. Already missing a huge portion of that front wing as well. But he's still going to challenge Domi. The Ferrari's had an excellent start. 5 places gained. And I think, well, his front wing's missing an end plate as well. Very, very chaotic. Some people got a lot better starts than others here. And, well, the leaders who got through unscathed.
Fraser was barking up Brownie's rear, and there's the safety car. That's a Williams out of this race. I don't know what to say about that, but we are going to have a big shuffle now, as it is the Ferrari of Paris currently in lead of things. Value, ZZ9, the top 3 as well. Richie's into 4th, Domi 5th, Blotel is in 6th, Sindako 7th, Dayson is in 8th, Shenjay in 9th, Microlander 10th. There will not be a restart. Welcome to Tier 1. Mistakes like that don't get you restarts, they get you out of races, and I have to say that was a very unique one so far. I have to say that's the worst race start we've had this week, Unicorn. But, fortunately, the safety car has graced us with its presence, and some of these drivers are going to get to fix some of these early errors.
Yeah, and I was about to say this before they popped into the pit stop, but Paris and Richie hopping into the pit lane, and I'm surprised others didn't do so. These soft tires, they don't last that long. We were just saying how powerful the medium is. They're probably being engineered. You'd like to think so. A lot of these drivers will be having that information put in their ear. And, well, with an incident like that, a lot of drivers are going to have damage. Look how busy that pit lane is. Pretty much everyone is in there. So Paris coming out now on fresh mediums and in 4th place. This is a brilliant place to be running. Obviously 3 places down on where they started, but, well, on the mediums, this is brilliant for him.
Well, Yoda's sitting there on his starting compound tire. Yoda started this race in 18th position. Or was it Was it 19th? It was 19th position for Yoda. He's moved up 14 positions, and he's still on a set of mediums. He's got Paris in his sights ahead, 3 soft runners ahead that are going to have to pit sooner than he does. Albeit he's got 5 seconds, he'll be able to serve that in the pit lane. Richie took 5 seconds on the way into the pit lane, it would seem, or at the very least for some kind of collision. But he's on to fresh mediums. He's in 6th. Domi's on his rear on fresh mediums. What a shuffle we have had, and I have to say, it is very bad luck and unfortunate circumstances for Brownie in this race.
Yeah, very unfortunate. An early retirement, never what you want. The Williams' hopes all lie solely on Yoda's shoulders. And, well, P5 right now, mediums. That 5-second penalty, whether correctly gifted to him by the game or not, is going to be served when he pits. So it'll be probably very hard to get that removed, unfortunately, for the Williams driver. But P5, these mediums could be on for a strong finish here. However, someone who's not going to be happy with how it started, Dason. We were saying just how strong he is coming in. He's been caught up in an earlier incident, not that one coming out of turn 9, the one he and Vexit got into through turn 3, coming out of turn 2 into turn 3, just collided together. Super unfortunate for the pair of them, both throwing back to the back of this grid, and well, everyone now just sort of gathering up behind that safety car, and we'll get cracking hopefully after this lap under the safety car.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. One thing that we heard all throughout the Discord community this week was how, you know, how much pressure there would be in Vietnam, and we thought in Tier 3, hey, we'd maybe see a little bit of issue. We saw a very clean race in Tier 3, another very clean race realistically in the Americas. Yesterday we had the first safety car deployed in Tier 2, and now Tier 1 we have another one, and this has been a very, very dynamic race start. There's been a major shuffle in strategy as a result of that safety car. Tires, majority of the grid now on the mediums. Drivers in difference of position now. Paris, technically speaking, is in net lead as the 3 drivers ahead of him yet to pit in this race. It's a major shakeup here. A major, major shakeup here. Let us know in the chat what you guys are thinking about this race. Are we going to see another safety car? This has been a huge start, and there goes Fraser. He's not having a good time at all in that Renault. He's just taking a front left end plate off, just coming into the long straight.
Yeah, not a fan of this track like many others, and obviously thing my teammate in the combined constructors, I've heard a little bit, he was not confident coming into this, and well, he crashed in qualifying. He's been involved in that early incident, and well, his confidence right now is going to be pretty low. He's on fresh softs as well, so I think he was going to be hoping to retake some of these guys on the mediums, maybe try and find a positional gain off of this safety car restart, but I don't think that's going to be the case now. Super unfortunate for it. But those 3 guys up at the top, I think it was a mistake to stay out. We'll have to see what kind of a gap they can pull out. Obviously, Paris, very quick around here. He's already proven that. But, well, these 3 need to sort of bring a gap, and maybe battling between the medium runners could give them just that. But, well, it's a waiting game now. Nursing the softs will mean that they will be able to pull out that one stop or soft to medium. But there we are. We'll have to see. And, well, who is that hopping? It's Fraser into the pit lane now to get off of these softs, get a new front wing. Maybe hards to the end if he doesn't want to pit again, or join everyone else on the mediums.
Oh, what a unique strategy here. He's going to go on to another set of mediums. Well, I have to say, I wasn't... I said earlier I was trying to prepare myself for this race, Unicorn. And I thought I had prepared myself for the race. And then the race started. And I have to say, I still wasn't prepared.
I don't think anything can have prepared us for that shift. Crazy, crazy scenes here in Tier 1. And, well, everyone now back behind that safety car. All that damage removed, all into the pit lane. All on fresh tyres apart from the front 3. So they'll all be pushing as hard as they can. And, well, everyone was hoping for rain was the great equaliser. Now it's the safety car that's been the great equaliser here at the beginning of this Vietnam race.
hasn't stopped in this race. So it's Valu, ZZ9, Sindako, and Yoda.
Just them.
Just
Oh,
the
yeah,
four of
Yoda
them.
as well.
Just the four of them. Yoda making up 14 positions from where he began, and he had a clean wing, and that was his saving grace to be in that position where he is. Paris, he jumped in because he wanted the proper tires, and Valu, ZZ9, and Sindako, I think they might know something here because they've stayed out on the softs, but we'll have to see. That safety car is coming in, and Valu is now going to pace this grid, and we are going to have this rolling restart here. And well, fingers crossed, Unicorn, that it's a little bit smoother than the last one.
Yeah, very interested to see what the difference in tyres here is going to do. Paris will have the pace at the end, but these three ahead of him will have the pace now. And it's up to Valu to restart it. And, well, they need to pull a gap to that Ferrari behind him.
Hold the phone. We're going to do this properly here. Valu, ladies and gentlemen, in the Red Bull, being chased down by ZZ9. And I just want to give a big shout out on this restart to Brendan Lee for the rated 97. Thank you so much, and welcome to the 97 viewers. You're back, and we are in Vietnam on lap 5 racing here in Hanoi.
Yeah, off the restart, no instant changes to position Yoda. Little bit deep through turns 2 and 3, but nothing that allows Ace Richie past, both of whom have a penalty. But Richie on just a couple lap fresher tires, but so far nothing has changed up and down this grid. Obviously no DRS despite it being lap 5 already of this race. But the front three really need to pull away, and right now Paris is sticking to them.
Well, these soft runners, they have a little bit of life in these tires right now to pull away from what's going to be an absolute massive train in these medium runners. They need to get away from Paris because Paris is the gatekeeper to this train right now. Yoda, well, actually, let's say Yoda's the gatekeeper. Paris is sticking with the soft runner as well. Yoda's just backing up the entirety of this grid. He's got Richie really barking up his rear right now in this McLaren on 2-lap fresher rubber. But penalties for both of them, 5 seconds apiece, and we'll see how they go through Sector 3 here. Things are a little bit tighter at the rear end of this grid. Battles going on for 12th position as Alp, Vexit, and Milan are very tight. Brainstew's not too far behind them. We got a couple of soft runners in that mixture, but we're going to keep things parked on at the front end just for a few moments.
Yeah, Domi as well, looking at the rear of these battling Williams and McLaren. Ace Ritchie tapping the wall out of the final turn. I don't think I saw an end plate fly off of that car, but it might have just scuffed it, and even that could cause that as he looks up the inside down into turn 1 on Yoda. Not going to find it, and that could leave him a little bit vulnerable to the Ferrari behind. Domi getting nice and close, but having to slam on the brakes to avoid running into the rear of the McLaren. I don't think he was expecting the opportunity as back down the grid, Milan and Brainstew exchange. Brainstew up into 15th place. The softs as Alp hits the wall on the inside. He falls down behind Vexit and Brainstew. And the Alfa Romeo on the soft's going to look up the inside again. This time it's into turn 6, but not going to find it on the racing point. But maybe the switch back to softs, we said it earlier, can really find traction through the inside here. But fresh mediums are no slouch either. Vex a little bit shaky on exit though, and
well, it's very tense in this back end right now. Richie, he's got a good run on Yoda here. A little bit of pace difference in the rubber here. It's not going to play too much of a role around the outside. Now he's looking at the Williams. Does Yoda hold it tight to the inside here? Give him a little bit of a squeeze there? Yes, he does. Richie is not going to have the move done right now. And the more of those for Richie, the better it is for this Ferrari here, because Domi really wants to get that position from both of these drivers, realistically, especially when they have those 5-second time penalties. Right now, Valu, ZZ9, Sindako holding steady in lead of things. They are all within 1 second of one another within that DRS train, and as we cross into lap 7, we should, if I'm not mistaken, have that DRS now online. Yes, we do. And ZZ9 is just out of that range.
yeah, well, Brainstew got past Vexit into the hairpin and also opened up the door for Milan as well. So Vexit now down into 15th place, but it's soft versus medium, so not too surprising for him. But here we go. We are going to see the first enabling of DRS, and, well, Sindaku has it. Paris has it, but ZZ9 does not have it on Valu. This could leave that Renault very, very exposed to Sindaku behind, and to an extent. Paris, as well as the two Alfa Romeos, switch places. Brainstew on the soft. It's his time to shine on those fresh Red Bull tires.
Well, Yoda right now, he's got Richie now with DRS on his rear, and this is where things are really going to get tricky for Yoda. We have this long sector 2 straight. DRS is going to come online for Richie, Domi, the whole of this train. You can see Richie now. He's going to have the inside going into the hairpin. Yoda not going to be able to do much here. A little bit of a nudge from the Williams into the rear of that McLaren. He goes offline on the exit. Yoda, he's got that Ferrari right on his rear. Are we going to see a move from Domi here? Yes, we are. He's a little bit later on the brakes, side to side now as we come through the right-hander. And there goes Domi through into 6th position on Yoda. Lotel, Microlander, very tight now. Yoda starting to fall a little bit here through Sector 3.
Well, not only are his tires older, I think that tap into the rear, I think Yoda braked to avoid overtaking Ace Ritchie. A lot of sportsmanship coming out of the Williams there, and that left him vulnerable to Domi. So I think that Yoda there could have not conceded the place, and he said gain one, but sportsmanship above points for the Williams, and you love to see it from him. Vexit and Dayson, they've exchanged positions. Vexit getting back past the Alfa Romeo, who actually is missing an end plate, so I'm not quite sure what's happened to Dayson here, but really not having the race that we were expecting him to have.
Brainstew hunting down Dougie right now. Of course, it's Dayson's teammate looking for 11th position. Lockups coming out of that McLaren here. Brainstew looks like he is on the hunt.
Yeah, Paris as well. Sindaku's dropped out of DRS range of ZZ9, and this front three starting to peel apart, and Paris absolutely charging down into the hairpin, not quite getting close enough early enough. But still, the mediums, they'll be starting to become a little bit faster than the softs, not getting the traction out of that corner, though.
Very intense racing here. Paris had a good exit, but it's not going to be enough to get Sindaku. We were looking at a few of the other drivers coming down into that hairpin. Not too many overtakes going on right now. Let's take a look at overall position changes. We have had one safety car here in this race so far. Freeware now has really stepped in it. He's taken a 3-second time penalty. Current overall gap to leader is 16 seconds from 17th position. Further back behind them, Fraser and Alp.
Yeah, Paris, DRS, but obviously not going to make the move into turn one, but just a little bit faster. Taps the rear of Sindaku, who goes spinning round. Paris, no damage, proceeds on into 3rd place. Sindaku might even fall to the McLaren of Ace Ritchie here. Indeed, he does. And well, that's super unfortunate for the Racing Point, but the extra grip on those mediums means that Paris just went in a little bit too deep without making the move.
Here we go, Microlander now. He's on the side of Yoda, and he's going to go around the outside, and he's going to get that move into 8th position, but has it been too early for the Red Bull here? That is the question. Yoda will possibly have DRS on the rear of Microlander, but the thing is, Microlander, he is within that 1-second range of Blotel. And it is so hard to get moves back when everybody's within such tight range here. Here we have Domi now. He's looking at Sindaku. We saw it from Paris last time. He didn't get the move into the hairpin.
Well, very cleanly done.
Yeah, it is going to be a neat move from Domi.
And I think these mediums really starting to shine over these few soft runners who didn't come into pit under that early safety car, and I think now they're starting to get a taste as to why everyone else came in for the mediums. And Paris sitting very nicely in 3rd. Domi in 5th. Very, very nice for the Scuderia. Ace Ritchie as well in 4th. Shouldn't be ignored. And he's on 6-lap old mediums, so interesting to see how far he can take them into this race. But I still think it will be a set of slots for him at the end of this campaign.
Yoda, Brainstew in his rearview mirror right now. Brainstew look to the inside, putting a little bit of pressure perhaps on that Williams, but Yoda, no spring chicken here, runner-up in Tier 1 last season. Oh, so tight from Brainstew right now. He's still on these softs, of course. Here we have it. DRS for both drivers, but a very good exit for Brainstew, and he's dispatched the Williams for 10th position.
Yeah, again, DRS just so strong around this circuit, and I think another example of that is going to be Paris. This time it's ZZ9 in the crosshairs, and the speed even before the rear wing is open is incredible, and here goes the Ferrari just breezing past the Renault, and these softs really have fallen off, and Ferrari is proving just that. Up into second place for the pole sitter. And
Well,
Valu and ZZ9.
Blotel, Microlander, wheel-to-wheel coming into the hairpin right now. Microlander, 7th position. Blotel. Oh, this is very intense battling we're going to see out of this portion of the grid now as we have a very heated exchange on the horizon. It's Microlander, Blotel, Shenjay, Brainstew. Yoda is in the mixture as well. And it is Dougie Falcons who is slowly approaching with Vexit not too far on the rear. So things are starting to... They're dancing around those 1 second ranges. It's still a very tight grid, and any mistake on this grid is going to cost you massively. The first of the 3 now, it is going to be Valu into the pit lane. He's going to be jumping onto another set of medium compound, or sorry, a fresh set of medium compound tires, as he was on the softs.
Yeah, and he will be taking those all the way to the end. The safety car really helped nurse them a little bit longer, and I think ZZ9 and Sindaku will be in this lap as well for some mediums, and I wouldn't think it'll be too long until we saw Brainstew do the same. As for Yoda, I'm not quite sure when he's going to pit in. He's probably going to try and drag these mediums out to lap 18.
Brainstew and Shenjay, a major wheel-to-wheel exchange here. Shenjay forced to take the exit, well, the off-road realistically. Shenjay right now 8th position, holding the Alfa Romeo, and this is very intense. Shenjay, I'm not entirely sure. No, he didn't take a penalty as a result of that. It was 5 seconds for something else, and he's very tight to the rear of Blotel now. He's going to have a big lunge coming out of the AlphaTauri down into the hairpin. This has opened the door for Brainstew. Brainstew moves up the inside. He's in his 7th position. Shenjay, he's heavily exposed himself to Blotel still. Is Shenjay going to lose out massively here? Blotel around the outside. Shenjay is going to lose that 8th position, and that cost him dearly.
Well, Brainstew, talk about being switched on and on your toes. One of the best reactionary moves I've ever seen, I think. He saw that Shenjay was going to go a bit deep there, and that was going to force Blotel wide as well, and, well, he reacted perfectly. Sent it up the inside on what was visibly no one, but that just gave him that just grip and just traction through and past the pair of them, and on these dying softs, even more impressive. Shenjay's going to have another look at Blotel into turn 1, not going to commit to it though. It's a tricky place to overtake despite it being a fairly tight corner. Dason on some fresh softs is having a look at the rear of Milan, down for 16th place in the final sector, but I don't think he's going to find it there. Maybe into turn 1, but it's all Shenjay versus Blotel. This battle looks like it's not going to go away for a while. DRS for Shenjay again, but not going to have the space and be close enough to make the move for 6th place right now, but it's that infamous hairpin strip. He's going to have a run here this time. He just needs to be a little bit more careful.
Well, I don't think anybody wants us to look away from this action right now. Look at the gap. It's still less than 3/10. DRS now online, the rear wing wide open. Blotel, he will seemingly not have a defense here. His defense, he's going to go to the outside. Shenjay moving through wheel to wheel down into the hairpin. Another lockup from Shenjay. A good rotation coming out of that AlphaTauri here. Does he hold it this time? I have to say, Unicorn, he played that one a heck of a lot better than the last run through.
Yeah, much more clinical from the AlphaTauri, and, well, it will have been sitting on his mind for that previous lap, and he's going to be seeing already just the disappointment of just how quickly Brainstew is just running away from him. 1.1 seconds, and Brainstew's on old softs as well, so Shenjay will really be kicking himself, but he has got the move done. Brainstew will be into the pits in a lap or so.
Oh, Vexit.
And then Shenjay will be in P5.
A lunge here into the penultimate turn here. Him and Yoda quite tight through Sector 3. Freeware has had an exchange. Has he taken damage? He had a little bit of a run up against the wall there. Value's taken 11th position from him. Vexit in 10th position now has the Red Bull in his rearview mirrors, and things are really starting to shake up with these fresh rubber runners moving through this grid, Unicorn.
Yeah, well, Valu, he wants to be putting as many drivers between himself, ZZ9, and Sindaku. So he needs to be catching up, and, well, it's all dependent on where Paris pops out when he comes in for some softs at the end of this campaign. It'll be probably around lap 18, but maybe a little later if he wants to drag out the mediums just a tiny bit to avoid any sort of problems. We've seen a lot of punctures around Vietnam so far this week, and I wouldn't be surprised if we saw one or two here this evening as well. Here goes Valu, another overtake on the cards for the Red Bull, and even before DRS was enabled, that was quite obviously going to be 10th place all day long. And now into the hairpin. Score up to Yoda and Dougie Falcon. Further back, ZZ9 gets past Tim. The fresh mediums just charging their way through the field to get back to those point scoring positions.
Jason hunting down a Haas named Milan right now. The Alfa Romeo, the two Ferrari-powered units moving through. The Haas, I think, is going to lose out here. Softs versus mediums, and a great run of speed for Dason into the hairpin. That's 16th position for him for now.
Yeah, still out.
Valu with a lunge on Yoda. This is where we saw the lunge come on Yoda last time. Wheel to wheel coming through the final turn now. Very tight racing between these two. Valu has made it work. Vexit is going to take that opportunity as well, and Yoda has unfortunately dropped 2 positions inside of a turn. It might be 3 positions inside of 2 turns. Freeware looking up the inside. Yoda says, get out. I don't want to see this right now, but Freeware, oh, he really wants that 11th position from this Williams.
You know, both of their tires pretty old, so they won't have as much grip as they'd liked. And, well, ZZ9 on very fresh mediums, hunting them down. He's going to look to join this party, and the battling, we always say it, slows everyone down, brings people closer to the fight from behind, and that can cost you when it's someone like ZZ9 on fresh tires. Meanwhile, Freeware's teammate Shenjay is going to have a look at Brainstew. He's going to look to try and dispatch the Alfa Romeo again down into the hairpin. He's sort of had a 50-50 with this corner today. Brainstew much later on the brakes, and that sends him around the outside. And I think Shenjay just about has this move completed. And indeed, the AlphaTauri sees himself past the Alfa Romeo for 5th.
ZZ9, Yoda, Freeware, everybody's so tight here. Yoda on these mediums is really presenting a challenge for a lot of racers right now to make their way through this grid.
Yeah, ZZ9 needs to clear these guys so that he could go and start catching up to Valu. But the Red Bulls, we were saying it, they've been looking strong at the start of the season, and both already on 4 double points finish. The Ferrari squad as well, though, right now sitting in 1st and 3rd. They will be pretty happy with how this race is going, but still just under half of this race still to come, and anything and everything could change in that time. Dason's left the session. Not quite sure what's plagued him there. Fingers crossed he can rejoin as quickly as possible.
Here goes Valu now. Dougie losing out. Dougie looking back to the inside. Nothing doing just yet. NJ now, Microlander. Let's take a look here. Big carry of speed coming out of Shenjay. Not a lot that the Red Bull can do here. That is going to be 4th position for Shenjay into the hairpin. Further back down the grid, Vexit, Dougie. Wheel to wheel through the hairpin now. Dougie holding on the inside. Vexit taking a little bit of curb. And that is going to be Dougie holding on to 9th position for the moment.
Yeah, very nice move for the McLaren. Puts both of them in points as well. Race Richie up in 2nd. So a couple of teams, strong performances, and really capitalizing on the misfortune of some of the others. And well, this race was equalized by the safety car. Brainstew finally comes into the pits to get off of those old softs. And I'm interested to see where he gets thrown out, presumably on mediums to the end.
Take a look. It's going to be softs. Another set of softs for Brainstew here. Very interesting. Lotel under threat from Valu now. The Mercedes versus the Red Bull. DRS for the Red Bull here. Not a lot Lotel can do. He is on 14-lap-old mediums. Valu charging through this field now. 2.8 seconds is the gap to his teammate ahead in Microlander. Microlander doing a good job right now, sticking with Shenjay for the time being, and if he can stick with Shenjay for a little bit, that'll bring Value into the equation as well.
Yeah, and Microlander's not going to make it too difficult for Value when he does catch up, and he will. But if Microlander can get ahead as Vexen and Dougie, they're going side by side again. But the Racing Point already has the move done, down into the hairpin. I think Dougie thought about lunging in on the brakes, but no speed means it would have been a very risky move, and he thinks better of it. He only gets passed by ZZ9. He's starting to climb its way through the grid as well. Won't be long till we see Yoda presumably come into the pit lane as well to get off of these 15-lap-old mediums. He's been on them since the start of this race. And, well, here he comes now. Seems like
he's going for
a little bit early
softs.
for him.
I think he's going. There's only one option for him because he can't go to another set of mediums. He hasn't pit in this race. He can't go to hards. They'll be slow. Very, very interesting. Very interesting. We'll see what kind of pace he has coming out of those softs for the remainder of this race. Brainstew will be a good indicator. 4 seconds right now Brainstew has between him and Tim. Tim is on 15-lap-old mediums. So that's a very good representation, and he's taking that down massively. Almost 3 seconds as we started talking about it.
Well, here goes ZZ9 looking around the outside of Freeway. That's a very neat move around the outside of turn 6. The Renault will be happy with that one into P9, and that opens it up again. Ricky Falcon next on his list, but Value already over 5 seconds up the road from ZZ9. Looking pretty tricky in the podium. I don't think we could call it. Value puts another car in between himself and the Renault. It's his teammate Microlander. Well, Value, he'll be looking for Shenjay next. He's already within DRS range.
Grid starting to space itself out. Big difference in tires all throughout. Tires starting to get worn. Drivers starting to struggle a little bit more for grip. Brainstew already 1.5 seconds is the gap to Tim ahead, and considering how tightly grouped this grid is right now, I have to say these soft runners might be in for a treat at the end of this race. Vexit now has just dispatched Milan. Paris has moved in for softs.
Yeah, so it's Richie, and where are the pair of them gonna come out? The Ferrari gonna be thrown into some traffic, it would seem. Somewhere around Sindaku. Whereabouts is it? It's actually the pit lane here, throwing Paris out in P6, so very, very nice stuff for the Ferrari. And on Blotel, it's basically P5 because, well, there's not a lot the Mercedes can do about that on medium tyres that are 16 laps old. Paris just breezing by into P5.
Not much that 16-lap-old mediums will do about soft, that's for sure. Tim and Fraser now. Fraser. Oh, Tim coming out. He's in 16th position, so Tim just getting ahead of him as a result of that pit stop, it would seem. There was some kind of exchange because they flipped as I guess Fraser went by.
Value and Shenjay side by side. The Red Bull on 7-lap-old mediums compared to 15 on the Alpha Tauri. And he's got the inside line and he's going to get it. I'm wondering whether Value should pit here. Come in for softs, react to the Ferrari.
Sindako, Dougie wheel to wheel right now. It's an exchange between the McLaren and the Racing Point. Dougie on the inside, a little bit of an exchange. Contact's been made. Sindako. Oh, a big run out of Sindako there. He's pinched Dougie into the wall. Richie, his teammate now, is coming behind him. He's going to just move smoothly through on the inside. Value and Shenjay have switched positions as Domi and Shenjay have opted to come into the pit lane. So Value now out on 8-lap-old mediums by himself with a significant gap. Paris, Microlander, wheel-to-wheel into turn 1. Second position now for Paris on the fresh softs, and he's got 3 seconds separating him and Value ahead on the worn mediums. We're going to take a quick moment. Thank you very, very much to Voltex27. Thank you so much for the raid. Welcome in, everybody. We greatly, greatly appreciate your support. And, well, welcome in for the final phase of this race. Richie now, Sindako. They're having a wheel-to-wheel exchange. Richie moves into 6th.
Brain's just been disqualified from the session. What on earth has happened to the Alfa Romeo? He's been disqualified, but what for? I'm going to look on the incident report now. Blocking the pit lane, so not quite sure what's happened there to Brainstew. Whether he's crashed or not there, and well, that'll be super, super unfortunate, but yellow flag, but no return of the safety car.
It's very unfortunate.
Still 18 drivers out on track. Lap 19, and it's Ace Ritchie on fresh softs looking to hunt down Blotel. And, well, he might just find it here. The additional traction through the final sector. Not a conventional overtaking spot, but he's made it look effortless in that McLaren. A very, very nice move. As, well, one of his fiercest rivals in this race, Paris, sets a 1:35.5 to take fastest lap of the race. In the Ferrari, Mike Lander, Blotel into the pit lane. They'll be taking fresh softs to the end as well. And I want to know where Valu's going to end up in all this. He's got a lot of fresh soft runners hunting him down, one of whom is right over his gearbox. It's Paris looking for a return to the top spot, and he's going to find it down into turn 6.
Yeah, not a lot that Values are going to be able to do against softs right now on these mediums. He's got a good set of mediums. He's definitely set to the end of this race, I think, but he's going to start dropping to a lot of these drivers that came in for softs, and I'm starting to think that for him to stay out during safety car might have been the wrong decision. ZZ9 is in a very similar situation.
Ritchie now, and well, the fresh softs continue to thrive as the McLaren hops into the final podium position. P3 past ZZ9 on fairly fresh mediums, but I think these medium runners are going to be in a bit of trouble here come the end of this race, and well, I think they're going to regret not pitting under that initial safety car like Paris did, and we're seeing the rewards of that reaction now in this closing stages, and the Ferrari could be on for a double podium if Domi plays his cards right.
Blotel and Yoda now. Both on very fresh softs. Yoda a little bit more worn. Blotel gets him for 13th into the hairpin. Everybody operating very, very quick in these cars with the softs. Domi less than half a second is just it's disappearing on Sindako. Big lock up there from Domi. You see he's trying to drive it, and he's got a lot of these drivers, they need to start making adjustments for braking points on worn tires. In Sindako, you just saw Domi locking up on the rear of that racing point.
Yeah, very, very tricky stuff. The Ferrari dancing around on the rear of the racing point. Not going to find a way past into P5, though.
Quick shout out to Biggles Pit Lane. Thank you very much for the gifted Tier 1 sub to the Misfits community. Congratulations to Jones. Domi hunting down Sindako now, the Italian versus the Italian car. What's he going to do about it? Oh, I'm afraid he's not going to have a lot of options at the moment. But we've seen good defenses coming out into this hairpin. Will he go later on the brakes? No, he's just going to let that Ferrari through. Yeah,
you really don't have a lot of say in the matter when that DRS really gets going, with the extra speed out of the corner what the softs provide, as it's like Milan and Blotel have exchanged as well, and the mediums are really starting to run out of options. I think Milan's going to be forced to pit here, I think, if he wants to finish anywhere. But the mediums really aren't going to put him in the points.
Definitely not. Definitely not at the current state of them, that's for sure. 13 laps old. They're going to be feeling it right now. Blotel, within half a second of Tim Blotel, has been showing very, very good pace in this Mercedes, especially since he's come onto this new set of tires. I think Tim under serious threat here. Milan, as you said it, into the pit lane, Unicorn.
Yeah, no real surprise. He's got to try something, and well, maybe in the closing stages he can claw it back into P10 for a point. Blotel, yeah, 10, exchanging into turn 1. And Oh, he put it earlier for damage, I'm pretty sure. Looking to recover this race. He was looking strong in qualifying, but now out of the points, just about. And well, pretty much all of these drivers now on fairly fresh softs, and that's a problem for those on mediums. But it's also a problem for these guys on softs outside of the points because, well, they're going to struggle to get in with everyone being on such even footing as ZZ9 and Domi. Domi coming around the outside of the Renault, just about finding the room. That's a very, very nicely executed move. He has been doing superb on these softs to get past Sindaku and ZZ9 in what looked like a very, very easy 2 moves.
Yeah, very neat, very clean operation from both of these drivers, leaving each other respect and space in that hairpin. That's what you love to see. Domi right now on the fresher rubber. He's moving through to catch up with Richie. 3.8 seconds the gap to Domi and Richie. 3.7 seconds the gap between Richie and Valu, and that gap is shrinking. Another gap to talk about is the gap between Paris and Valu. 5.3, nearly 5.5 seconds for Paris in that Ferrari over Valu now in second position.
Yeah, well, Valu, we came into this thinking he was strong and knowing how well he performed in the other 2 races. Now on 12 lap old mediums, can Ace Richie, can Domi catch that Red Bull? Who is going to be up on that podium? You've got to say Paris looks like it's pretty much confirmed race win. 5 lap old softs, 5 laps to go. They should make it, no problem. We have seen punctures around him before, but I don't think the Ferrari should have an issue with them. Valu, his tyres won't pop either, I don't think, but can they hold off Ace Richie and Domi? Whose tyres will fall off first? The softs or the mediums? They'll both fall off around the same time, I think. Well, the gap's 3.2 seconds. We'll have to just monitor it, see if the McLaren can get any closer to that Red Bull.
He's catching, but I don't know if he's going to catch him within a major operating range of these softs. I don't know if he's going to have the fighting ability in these softs when he gets to Valu. Going to be an interesting strategy equation to look at once we get to the final lap of this race, that's for certain, unless of course one of them makes a mistake. Could be mistaken though. 2.8, it's coming down decently.
Well, sector 3, a lot of twisty turning corners compared to the huge straight of sector 2, so a little bit more beneficial. We'll probably see him catch again here through the first sector, where there's this long right-hander, which is 2 corners sort of squished together, and again you can see it now. 2.3. I think the big thing here is who's going to have the beneficial DRS and who's going to get it on that last lap as well, because it's all well and good being ahead on lap 27, but when it comes down to it, someone flings themselves through into the hairpin on the last lap. There's not a lot you can really do to answer that on worn tires through sector 3.
Definitely not right now. Tim and Yoda keeping very, very tightly together through this first sector. Yoda's just been facing him down. We take a look at the penalties right now. Shenjay, Freeware, both AlphaTauris, 3 seconds apiece. Not going to do them any favors come the end of this race. Dougie Falcons as well, 3 seconds. He's in 14th right now. Alp, the reserve, replacing Mr. Alex Bido, the Spaniard today. Well, he's in 17th position, and one would ask, well, where is Alex Bido? There we go, Racing
positions.
Point on the inside right now. That's Freeware and Vexit. Vexit has just taken Freeware for 8th position in a very clean exchange.
Yeah, 1 up, 1 down. The AlphaTauri losing out between Vexit and Freeware, but Shenjay just overtook Sindaku in a similar fashion, so sure the AlphaTauri squad won't be too disappointed in what's just happened to Freeware, and he's a lot closer to the back as well as Sindaku on aging mediums. Shenjay's softs only 4 laps old, so still a lot of pace in it. Ace Richie now 1.7 seconds the gap to Valu ahead, and well, DRS isn't a huge shot in the dark now. It's very, very possible and probably likely that they'll get it. Vexit and Freeware exchanging again through the opening few turns, and well, it looks like Vexit's picked up some damage somewhere along the way. That front right end plate is missing, but Freeware holding on to 8th place and retakes it from the Racing Point. Brownie out of the session after that DNF at the start, unfortunately ended his race prematurely. Maybe doing some race engineering from the sidelines.
Yoda, Tim, very tight between these two. Dougie Falcons is in the picture now, and Yoda needs to get a move on because this McLaren's got 2 lap fresher rubber. He's looking at the inside of the Williams. He's looking at it. Oh, and he's spun himself around. He's gone for a dive up the inside of Yoda there. Yoda following through on his line. I'm not entirely sure what to say about that. Stewards may have a look. I don't know, but I'm going to tell you something. Vexit and Freeware are continuing to just battle here, but that end plate coming off the racing point is hindering him massively.
Yeah, it's going to be tricky, and I think it's just going to be damage limitation for him. He's on 7-lap old softs and Microlander 2 laps fresher. He's not too far away, and his wing is looking very, very fresh, very, very intact, and we could see him catch if Vexit's not careful. So I think Vexit just needs to stay behind Freeware, try and stick in DRS range until that is straight, but I think even that could be a bit of a struggle here for the Racing Point as he drops out of it.
Not too many major gaps on grid right now, just little strategies unfolding. Yoda is the tightest gap that we've got to look at right now, but we'll take a look at Richie. No battery in this McLaren right now.
Yeah, he's catching, and like you said, no battery, and he'll get some here down into the hairpin, and we're on lap 26 to 28. He'll want to get past and stay past, so whether he goes to the overtake on the next lap or he waits, charges up this battery, catches value and tries it. It's a risky strategy going for the overtake on the last lap, but there won't be much of an answer from the Red Bull. Also, whose tyres are feeling the freshness as well? 15-lap old mediums versus 7-lap old softs. Very, very tough to call. Obviously, team engineers might know, but for us, we don't have that information accessible to us here.
Yoda has dispatched Tim. Shenjay now is very tight to the rear of ZZ9, and ZZ9 and Shenjay, not strangers to battling as we saw in Club Division. And now we'll see what Shenjay is able to do. Microlander, he is within that DRS of Vexit, and we're on the penultimate lap of this race now.
Well, I'm watching Ace Richie, and I don't think he's got the tire advantage anymore. I think the mediums of value is working just a little bit better, and that's going to cost Richie here. He's not going to get the exit he needs out of this roundabout style curve onto the straight that he'll need on the next come through of here on the last lap to dive up the inside into that hairpin and get the position and get P2 on the podium. Domi pretty much out of the equation unless these two come together. Like you said, Shenjay on the road of ZZ9, he is looking very well poised to make the move, and Microlander's got past Vexit as well for P9.
Yeah, a lot of things happening on circuit right now. A lot of little battles unfolding, such is the case in the Tier 1. I have to say, this race has been extremely dynamic to a point where I don't think anybody saw this result coming, with Brownie and Rainstew being out of this race. But there goes Shenjay, up the inside, down into the hairpin. ZZ9, no answer for this on 14-lap old mediums here. Now, Harris, 10 seconds, the gap to him and the SMM driver. He's coming through the penultimate turn now. He's about to fly through the final turn and kick us off for the final lap of this race. He's had a very good performance in this Ferrari so far here. Richie, a driver to talk about. He currently missing an end plate on the front right. He will not have a lot of fighting ability to catch Valley right now, and these softs have come off a cliff. Domi, 3.3 seconds off of Richie right now. He's looking to have himself a 4th place finish here if things finish the way they stand now. Shenjay with the penalty. He will lose a position to ZZ9 here. And Freeware, he's slated to lose a position as well, but he's very close to pulling out the gap he needs on Microlander. In order to do that, he needs to dispatch Sindako, and Sindako is holding him up a little bit right now.
Yeah, I'm watching Richie, seeing if he's got an answer, and he's found a little bit of time, but I don't know if it's going to be enough. He's got the fuel warning light on. Whether he'll be able to find it, I think.
Oh, there goes
Freeware.
Freeware.
Actually has DRS.
Big lunge out of Freeware there. He gets the move done on Sindako. The fighting, though, it could cost him. It could cost him. He's got that 3 seconds. We're going to switch back now. Richie into the hairpin. Valu.
It's over. Valu got DRS off of Jason's back marker.
Oh, wow. That is extremely, extremely unfortunate. Richie now, though, he will collect third position here if everything goes according to plan. I do believe that is an AI backmarker.
Yeah, Jason, some sort of connection problem earlier on, but it's Paris who takes a very, very dominant win here in Vietnam. Gotta say, been looking like that's been gonna happen since the opening few laps. Valu will take P2 just ahead of Richie, and Domi picks up fourth. A double points finish for the Ferraris, very, very strong from the Scuderia. Shenjie crosses the line fifth, but CZ9 gets him on penalties. The other AlphaTauri, freeware, he's going to come home in seventh, but I think he's going to lose the position as well to Sindaco and Microlander. And Vexit makes it a double points finish for the Racing Point squad as well.
Tim, Yoda now, they're going to be crossing the line. Yoda takes 12th position here. Tim will cross 13th. Dougie Falcons, he is slated to take 14th. However, I do believe Milan will get him on a penalty. Of course, we're going to have interviews in just a few short moments' time with the three podium finishers. We have Paris, Valu, and Richie, the top three for this race. Congratulations to them. And then we'll be rating a member of the F1 stream community as always. And I have to say, thank you so much to everybody for the support, the chat, the raids today, the follows. Very, very appreciated.
Yoda picking up driver of the day. Strong drive from him. I don't think he picked up any points, but still from where he started on the grid. Not a bad finish, but there we are, the podium finishers. And well, Paris. What a drive on the debut, and, well, can't picture it going any better than a win. Alongside, of course, Valu and Richie. Valu continuing a strong run of form up at the top of the driver's standings. P2 help him retain that.
There we have it once again. The top three. We have Paris in the Ferrari, Valu in the Red Bull, and Richie in the McLaren. A very, very unique race, this one. Of course, Domi there, fourth in the Ferrari. ZZ9 fifth in the Renault. Shenjie in sixth for AlphaTauri. Sindaco seventh there in the Racing Point. Microlander in eighth in the other Red Bull. Freeware in ninth in the other AlphaTauri, with Vexit rounding out the 10 points finishers here for this one in the other Racing Point. Mercedes had Blotel here in this one, as well as Alp. They were unable to secure points. However, Alp did take fastest lap of the campaign, which took that out of the top 10. So nobody in the top 10 getting that extra point. Look at Yoda, Tim, Milan, as well as Dougie, Fraser, all in this one, as well as Dason, Brainstew, and Brownie. What a race. What a campaign that was. And that wraps up Tier 1 Vietnam. Wow.
Yeah, such a dramatic and dynamic race. It does look like we do have interviews popping up and people hopping in for them as well. So great to see from those guys, and we'll get them in here in just a moment. But it is
doing pretty good. I think we got the max out of what we could have done, pretty much. Coming from P6. Unfortunate 5 seconds penalty coming into the pits by 1 kilometer, which put me further on the back on Valu. And I think without those 5 seconds, I probably could have caught him, because at the end I was only 1 second behind him. So could have maybe been P2, but P3 from P6. I'm pretty happy with that result.
Well, it was a good podium finish, a very difficult circuit, a very pressurized circuit. How did you make it through the first phase of that race? There was a lot of stuff going on.
Oh yeah, into the first quarter, I believe. I kind of just took it super cautious, like just defending my front wing at all cost. And I saw someone spin in front of me, so I had to move out the way. Uh, Luckily, didn't get any damage from that. And then there was a whole pile up behind me. I heard all kinds of cars bashing against each other, and then the safety car came out. Not sure what happened, but I luckily got out
Well, when you
without
see
no
this
damage
race
there.
back later on, you are gonna. I say this to anybody whenever there's a race where there was a lot going on. The podium finishers will be happy when they watch this race back because there was a lot going on. So congratulations on the P3 today, Richie. Hopefully we'll see you again here in the interview rooms again soon.
Yes, thank you.
Now joining us, second place finisher, Red Bull driver, Valu. Congratulations on another podium. How are you feeling about this one here in Vietnam?
Yeah, I wasn't expecting podium here today because this was the least amount of practice I did for a race. The track is just so bad, so I just couldn't be asked to practice. But my start was really good, so put me in a good position, and then the safety car, I stayed out, maybe a mistake, but at least I kept my positions from the start.
Yeah, it was a very well-held drive there. You had Richie coming up on you on the softs. What was it like knowing he was on the fresh softs with those tires?
I was actually surprised how long his softs lasted because usually around 40% I started sliding with those, and Richie was still gaining like almost a second a lap, but then he hit the wall and didn't get DRS for the last 2 laps.
Well, it was a very well-driven race, and as I said to Richie, I'll say to you, if you do watch your races back and you see these commentary broadcasts, this race was definitely one that you'll be happy to take a podium away from. So congratulations and thank you so much for your time, Valu.
Thank you.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, last but definitely not least, and I'm going to give this one to Unicorn. It is Paris, the race winner here. Unicorn, take it away.
Well, Paris, congratulations. First race and, well, a win under the belt. That must feel good. Just talk us through how you're feeling right now.
Well, what a race, man. Honestly, from qualifying was stressful enough as is. I didn't get like a really good lap on my final lap, so I was sort of just fingers crossed that I managed to get the P1 on pole position. And then during the race, once you saw the safety car come out, I just thought uh, there's enough of a gap to the guys behind, and I go for the pit lane gamble when Valley doesn't. And I know from that point onwards, I am in like the front seat for the win. So it was very stressful 27 laps after that.
Yeah, well, it was almost an instant reaction from you. No hesitation to come into that pit lane. Excellent thinking on your feet, and it really worked out for you, not only, obviously, in the end, but you were really, once you'd come in for your second stop, your soft tyres, you just carved through the grid like butter, and everyone else sort of struggled to fight through the grid. Just how was that sort of mid-portion of the race where you are coming through the traffic and fighting your way back through to get back to the points position?
In the mid portion of the race, I timed my pit stop by looking at where value was on the track map to make sure that I'd cleared most of the traffic, and I'd done it in the window where a few guys behind would have pit. But throughout that, I was trying not to like overexert the softs over one lap. So I was trying to just pace manage and like manage the wear in order to not burn out my softs towards the end, because when that happens, you actually are slower than the medium runners who've been on there the whole race.
Yeah, well, obviously, a strong debut drive. Looking forward to the rest of the season. Now that you've got that win under your belt, how are you looking forward to it?
Well, I'm 2 rounds behind everyone else, but this certainly helps me catch up, and hopefully we can mount some sort of challenge for either drivers or constructors as the season goes on.
Awesome. Well, appreciate your time and congratulations on the debut win.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations. Okay, well, that wraps up the interviews. That wraps up Tier 1 Hanoi, Tier 1 Vietnam. What a race it was, Unicorn. Of course, everybody, thank you so much for joining us in the commentary, in the stream today. Everybody that's followed, everybody that's rated. We had Brennan Lee come in here, 2-time Formula 1 Esports world champion. We had Voltex come through with a party as well. We greatly appreciate all of the support, everybody, and we couldn't be more thankful. course, congratulations to the podium finishers here in this one. Next week, same time, same place, we will be looking at an entirely different circuit, and that will be China. Shanghai, of course. This week, we still have one more Vietnam Grand Prix to go, and that will be this Sunday for the APAC division. So we'll hope to see you there on Twitch. We are going to raid a member of the community. We're going to take just a few moments to figure that out. And while we do, we hope you will enjoy this outro. And of course, don't forget, check out Next Level Racing because they're a fantastic partner, a great home for awesome sim rigs from beginner all the way to the expert level. So we'll see you guys. Well, we'll see you guys for APAC. Thank you so much, and thanks again.